All right, so this is just a recap of what we were doing Thursday, okay? And then we'll move into some new stuff. So let's find just a place to work. I'm just going to zoom in just so I have a whiteboard. Okay, so question number 6 says, write the equation of a line that goes through the point 2, 3, and 0, 9. So this is just a review. Step number 1, Kanye. What was step number 1? Label. So we're going to label our point x1, y1, x2, y2. Because we have 2 points, so I need to label them. Andrew, what's step number 2? What was that? Write the equation. Do you know the equation we need to use? Which one? Okay, very good. Andrew said we're going to write the slope equation, which is m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. This is something you're going to have to know. So please review it, memorize the slope formula. There's just two formulas that you're going to have to memorize. Neve, what's step number 3? Substitute. So I have my points labeled. I have the formula. So I'm going to substitute. We're going to do 9 minus 3 over 0 minus 2. Harshan, last step. Solve and simplify. So I have this up here. Harshan, what is? All right. Harshan, what is 9 minus 6? 3. Sorry, my bad. 9 minus 3. 6. And what is 0 minus 2? Do you know what 6 over negative 2 is, Harshan? Perfect. So we have our slope. And now here's the trick. What's our y-intercept? Nate, do you know? Do you remember? All right, so if we look at our 2 points, Nate, do you see how this is 0? That means 9 is my y-intercept. So I give you your y-intercept in the problem, and I give you your slope is negative 3. So my equation is y equals negative 3x plus 9. Jack, you getting all this down? All right. So that was number 6. Number 7, same thing. 5 comma negative 2, and the point is 0 comma negative 2. Sophie, first step, what is it?
Label.
What did you say?
Label.
Label. So we're going to label it x1, y1, x2, y2. Then what, Mr. Ferry? Yeah, I write my slope formula, which is, do you know? Perfect. Jordan, what's my next step? Jordan?
Substitute.
Substitute. So we're going to substitute in negative 2 for y2 And we're going to substitute in -2 for y1 over 0 minus 5. Delaney, what's my last step?
Solve.
Yes, solve/simplify. So 2 negatives make a positive, so -2 plus 2 is 0. 0 minus 5 is -5, so we have our slope is 0. Now, remember, Nate, that's 0, right? So this is my y-intercept. So my answer would be y equals 0x minus 2, or y equals -2. You okay with that? All right. Okay, so I'm not going to do 8. I think we're moving along just fine. All right, now these are not in the book. All right, so this is what we were working on Friday. The example was, I give you a slope, let's say 2/3, and I give you a point, 6/4. Okay, what do I do from here? Kanye, what's your first step? Label. Now, Kanye, I don't have 2 points here. All right, I only have 1 point, right? So I'm simply going to label it x and y. Now, which equation has an x, y, and an m in it? Neve, which one has an x, y, and an m in it? Which equation? Remember in the start of 4.1? At the start of 4.1, I gave you 2 formulas that were highlighted that you need to know. Okay? Oh, very good, Neve. Y equals mx plus, not y, b. So y equals mx plus b. Liam, what is y?
Four.
What is m, Mackenzie?
2/3.
2/3. Kevin, what's x? Kevin?
6.
Perfect. And we don't know b. That's what we're looking for. Now, the last step is to solve and simplify. So 2/3 of 6, I can type that in my calculator, or I can do 2 times 6 is 12, divided by 3 is 4. That gives me y equals 4 plus 4. Jack, how do I get rid of plus 4? Not divide, subtract 4. That gives me b equals 0. Notice I have b, I have m. That gives me y equals 2/3 x plus 0. Or I could just write it as y equals 2/3 x. Hope, you with me?
Yeah.
Perfect. You okay? You okay so far? All right. So those were the 2 things we covered on Friday. Now, You ready for this, Nate? This is a little tricky. So you sure? So Nate, moving forward on Friday, I gave you slope and then intercept, right? And you guys were able to write the line. Then I gave you a graph where you had to count the slope and intercept, right? So I like took it away, like explicitly saying this is what it is. Then I took away your slope, but gave you your B. That was like the first stuff we did today. It's a little bit of what we did on Thursday and at the start on Friday. All right, and you had to find your slope, right? Then on Friday, I took away your B, but gave you your slope. That's what we did Friday and today, a little bit, just now. What do you think I'm going to do next, Nate? Now, Nate, I'm going to give you 2 points. That's it. I'm not going to give you your slope. I'm not going to give you your y-intercept. Okay? So I'm going to give you the point 1, 3, and we're going to say 2, 4. Okay? Neve, what 2 things do I need to write the equation of a line? I need 2 things. Very good. And I need it in that order, right? Now notice I don't have my slope, do I? So it's my first step. Label. So my first step is to label. I have 2 points, all right, x1, y1, x2, y2. Hope, what's my second step?
Subtract y2 minus y1 and then x2 minus x1.
Perfect. I'm going to write my formula, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Angela, what's my third step? You can type it if you want. You with me? Okay. Angela said, solve. Nope, right before solve, there is substitute. So what we want to do, Angela, before we can solve it, we need this substitute in so we know what we are solving. So we're just going to do 4 minus 3 over 2 minus 1. Now, Angela, we can solve it. So I'm going to do 4 minus 3, that's 1, over 2 minus 1, that's 1. So my slope is 1. Now that I have my slope, I need to do what I just did in the previous problem. I need to find my B. So from here, I have my slope. I'm just going to write that right here. But now instead of having 1 point, I have 2 points. So what I need to do, Harshan, is I need to choose a point. Which point do you like better? 1, 3 or 2, 4, Harshan? 1, 3. Now, Nate, if you chose 2, 4, we get the same answer. So it doesn't matter. It's your choice here. Ready for this? Neve, what's step number 1? Step number 2, Kanye? Write my equation. So I use the equation y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now what I need to do is I need to use the other equation. That's y equals mx plus b. Jack, what is y?
1.
So right up here, what's y? Yes, you do. Right here. What's y? Look for the letter y. 3. So I'm going to write 3 equals, what's m, Jack? 1. X is,
1.
so I do 3 equals 1 times 1 plus b. Ready for this one, Nate? Mrs. Potts. So you didn't see it coming.
No.
Mrs. Potts, what's step number 3?
Substitute.
Substitute. And you gave me step number 4, so we're going to do it. Here we go. So we're going to substitute, okay, which we just did, and now we're going to solve. So 1 times 1 is 3, or 1 times 1 is 1 plus b, and now we're going to do minus 1. That's going to give me 2 equals b. Now that I have m and I have b, I just write my equation, which is y equals 1x plus 2. I know, it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. There's not going to be many on your test. Let's do another one. But Neve, do you see how it's the same steps over and over and over again? So it's not like we're doing anything different. I'm just asking you to repeat steps. All right. Nate, step number 1, label. I have 2 points, so I need to label it x1, y1, and x2, y2. Andrew, step number 2. That's step number 3. Do you know what equation to use? That's step number 2. Very good. I'm going to use m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And now that I have my equation, Andrew, now I can substitute, plug in the numbers. So that's going to give me 3 minus 5 over -1 minus -2. Mr. Ferry, what's step number 4? Solve it or simplify it. 3 minus 5 is -2 over 1, which I'm just going to write as -2. Is that okay with you? Now, a very important question. Neve, which point do I want to choose? Do you want to choose -2, 5 or -1, 3? Yeah, Neve, it doesn't matter which point you take. You can pick either one. So there is no wrong answer here. You get the same answer. So Neve chose -1, 3. And now we start the process over. Hope, what's step number 1?
y2 minus y1 and then x2 minus.
Okay, that's for finding the slope. Do we have 2 points now, Hope?
Oh yeah.
We only have 1 now,
Yeah.
right? So what's step number 2? Did you write them down?
Yeah.
Okay, so read step number 2. It says what?
I don't know.
So Hope, step number 2 is to label, or that's step number 1. So we're going to label, and then we are going to write our equation, which is y equals mx plus b. Now what, Harshan? You forget. Substitute. Harshan, what is y?
-1.
So look up here. Look for the letter y. 3. What's that?
-2.
What's x?
-1.
And we don't know b, right? Because if we did, the problem would be over. Last step, Nate. Solve. So what is -2 times -1? What was that? You sure? Negative times a negative is a positive. Now, maybe you're reading this stuff. How do I get rid of the positive 2? Subtract 2. And there's your -2. So I get b equals 1. Who could give me the equation of the line? Kanye, what's the equation of the line? Y equals? What's that? Perfect. All right. Now, you guys at home, this is going to seem weird. All right, I'm leaving this on the board. And I want you guys to write the equation of the line. But the reason why I'm leaving this on the board is I want you guys to be able to reference it. So what I want you guys to do is what's in this. No, that's not good. Wow. It's amazing how bad you can draw a file if you haven't done it in a while.
They're not perfect.
Look, so bad. Oh boy. Breaking things. Hold on. That should. I want you guys to write the equation of the line that's written in the cloud on your own. All right, so here's the example problem for you guys to reference. So you guys, this is what I want you to do. I want you to write the equation of the line of this. So I want you guys to do what we did together over here on the board for this. What's up?
You're just bringing back bad memories of high school.
Yeah, that's-
Forgot all the steps.
It's okay, I'm pretty sure I invented those steps.
Never understood why they called it slope, but also used M. Why didn't they just make it S?
I think it looked too close to a 5.
Good point.
My hands are getting chewed on from running. It's all the cold air.
You use gloves?
I do, but it's still like,
Still, wow.
it's like 7.
Yesterday's better though.
Hoping we get in synchronous state of mind.
Sleep, maybe first.
All the sleep. It's like I can care less. I'm like, tomorrow.
Question, sleet or snow?
Well, if it snows, I don't get it snowed if you get it snowed.
You hope we get it. Versus, she said if the, we'll see what she says. Sleep right there. 'Cause I thought they were all going to be synchronous for this, as opposed to snow.
All right, here we go. I'm giving you the points 2 or -2, 4 and -4, 7. Step number 1 is always to label. I have 2 points. I'm going to label the first one x1, y1, and the second one x2, y2. Step number 2 is always to write your equation. I have 2 equations. The first equation has y2s and y1s and x2s and x1s. The second one has a y, an m, an x, and a b. All right? All good. Remember? Oh, yeah. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to use the one with the y's and x's. So it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now that I have everything labeled and I have my points, well, I'm going to substitute. So I do 7 minus 4 over -4 minus a -2. And the last step is always to solve or simplify. 7 minus 4 is 3. -4 minus a -2. All right, 2 negatives make it positive, so that gives me -2. So my slope is -3 over 2. Now I need to choose a point. So I'm going to choose this one on the left. which is negative 2, 4. And I'm going to take my slope, which is negative 3/2. Step number 1, label. Step number 2, write the equation of your line, which is y equals mx plus b. Step number 3 is to substitute. So y is labeled 4, m is labeled as 3/2, x is labeled as negative 2, and b. Now I'm going to solve/simplify. Negative 2 times the negative 2 there. Well, that's going to be a positive 3, so I have 4 equals 3 plus b. Subtract 3, and b equals 1. So now that I have m and I have b, I have y equals negative 3/2 x plus 1. All right, so on your test, this is what you're going to have. You're going to have ones where I give you m and b. They're really easy. You just have to plug them in. You're going to have a couple graphs where you're going to have to count your slope, and then you're going to have to identify your y-intercept. Then you're going to have ones where I give you a point, and one of which is your y-intercept, so you have to calculate your slope. Then I'm going to give you like 2 or 3 questions where I give you your slope, and you need to find your y-intercept, and then I'll give you like 2 or 3 questions like this. So it's not a whole lot. Like 2/3 of your test is going to be like real simple. You're just plugging it in, counting blocks, okay?